Hello everyone, this is Sham and this is part 31 of the WoW Let's Play. In this video we're going to be going and finishing the rest of the Stratholme instance, and then afterwards we're going to be going to the Badlands, because apparently the zone that you're supposed to be questing in after Eastern Plaguelands is Badlands. You get like a nice little rocket ride by a goblin. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea to trust a goblin to send me on a rocket halfway across Azeroth, but we are going to Badlands in the south, and it does take quite a long while to get there. But luckily, I cut that out for you, so you don't actually have to wait for me to actually fly there yourselves, because that would be an incredibly dull 2-minute journey in which I would not have really much to say whatsoever. We killed Timmy the Cruel. Timmy the Cruel did not used to be in that position before, prior to the Cataclysm change of this instance. Timmy the Cruel used to be a mob that spawned after you kill a certain amount of mobs in this place, but also this place used to have all the Scarlet Crusade who weren't undead. But now even the Stratholme Scarlet Crusade are undead. Apparently the only Scarlet Crusade that aren't undead anymore are the ones in Scarlet Monastery, which means the Scarlet Monastery is the last bastion of the Scarlet Crusade in Azeroth, so they're no longer relevant, no longer a threat. They have nothing to do with the storyline, and probably will be phased out of existence quite soon. They've already started phasing them out of existence now, but they didn't really use them to their potential in Northrend, so I think it was a wasted opportunity, because Scarlet Crusade haven't really been that relevant ever in this game. They've been in a few instances, been in a few questing locations, but never really been a massive force in any sort of event. This is Commander Malo, who doesn't seem to drop any items, but apparently there might have been a quest for him. I don't know if there was a quest for him or not. And we are just killing a lot of mobs now. Soon we will be going to the boss regarding the cannonball. The cannonball boss, which is the best boss in this dungeon. It's probably the best boss in this dungeon. He's kind of a unique boss when it comes to pre-Azeroth, Wrath of Lich King / Burning Crusade standards, because he does have a unique mechanic where some ads will appear periodically right behind the boss, and he's supposed to pick up cannonballs and use the cannons to kill them, otherwise you'll be overwhelmed. Usually you won't get overwhelmed even if you just nuke the boss down, but before Cataclysm and in the original game, you probably would have had to do this, otherwise you would have been horribly killed, because people couldn't DPS as good as they do now, even at this level. As you can see here, our healer, because our tank is barely getting hit, is the one who's manning the cannonballs, and I'm just nuking him down. And I get a nice upgrade to my gun, which I still use even in part 37 of the playthrough now, because it's such a good gun at this level to actually use. Yes, you can also get a trinket from that guy. It's a trinket which summons a portable cannon, but it's a small little cannon appears, attacks your enemies, but it barely does any damage, and it's more like a novelty item than anything else. Of course, all these trinkets that have like an NPC that comes up and pops up and does an ability are all vanity items, because they barely ever do anything. So yes, we're going to the end of the instance now, and at the end of the instance we're going to be fighting the leader of the Scarlet Crusade in this area, which is Balnazar. He is pretending to be a Scarlet Crusade general, or does he even pretend to be a Scarlet Crusade general anymore, or is he just Balnazar? Because he might just be Balnazar now, I'm not quite sure. But we'll be fighting these mobs down, and we'll see them. Oh, first off you have to kill Inspector Galford, which I don't think drops any loot either, does he? I don't think he does. Does he drop any loot? Yes, he does. He does drop loot and some righteous orbs, which used to sell for quite a lot back in the day. I'm not quite sure what it sells for now, but they used to be used for a lot of class-specific quests. Specifically the Paladin Mount quest. They don't get used for that anymore, so they probably sell for a lot longer. But you could make a ton of money from soloing this place back in the day. I'm not quite sure if it's as good as it used to be, but you could usually make quite a lot of money by doing it. And it was a fun instance to solo, because as you probably know, if you're trying to farm gold, killing massive amounts of mobs and AoEing them down is probably a very, very good way of doing so, and it's a very fun way as well. This is the Badlands. We are in the Badlands right now, and the Badlands is a very good questing zone. The initial quests in the zone regarding the goblins are quite fun and hilarious, and then we got some serious quests with the orcs and the red dragonflight in the area regarding the black dragonflight in the Badlands. And they have introduced a few. The thing is, this town here called Fuselight is one of the only goblin towns in Badlands. It is the only goblin town in Badlands, and there are very few quests here. I think there's only like 4 quests at the event that you fully have to do. Oh yeah, the reason that we just skipped right back here is because I was an idiot and I forgot to actually hand in the final quest in Eastern Plaguelands. So I skipped ahead after collecting some of the quests in Badlands, and I've come all the way back to this place here. By the way, if you want, you know that in the ghosts in the graveyard there, right behind Lightsoap's Chapel, those quests that he gives for the instances, they don't give any experience. They're a way of actually getting some extra reputation with the Argent Crusade while leveling. So if you don't want to do them, I'd suggest not doing them unless you're going to Skullman's and Stratham anyway, because otherwise you're just going there for absolutely no extra experience whatsoever. Of course, if you're leveling through dungeons, it doesn't hurt to get a little bit more experience. For Argent Crusade experience, you'll probably get if you just level in Northrend anyway, quite easily, because you get a ton of experience from just doing Eastern Plaguelands questing. Yes. And you also have to do a quest line in order to get him anyway, I think, before he actually gives you any quests. So, yes, unless you're leveling in Eastern Plaguelands, I wouldn't suggest going and trying to get his quests, because they only give 5,000 Argent Crusade rep, and you'll probably get that from just doing some instances in Northrend when you get there anyway. Those two quests were just regarding ogres, so I didn't really feel the need to actually talk over them. This is one of the final quests in Fuselight now. You have to nudge the billy goats, because apparently the billy goats are hurting and interfering with the goblins, so we're going to be pelting them off cliffs. Now this is a morally dubious action, but it's freaking hilarious. And if you do it in a certain amount of time, you get an achievement called Ready, Set, Goat, which I find hilarious. But there must be a way of repeating that quest, otherwise you can't get the achievement. So maybe it's a secret achievement, and if you complete the quest you can't do it anymore. Kind of weird, but yeah. It's a fun quest, and it's just fun just to pelt them off cliffs. They do actually die, so if you actually look down, they will actually collapse and they will die. The quest we've got here is the first sample wild eggs and the second sample whelps. Now the reason we're collecting these things is Rhea is trying to learn about the Black Dragonflight in the Badlands in order to see if they can be cleansed of their old god corruption. And throughout this questing in Badlands, we're going to be learning what she finds out, and we're going to be learning to try to save the Black Dragonflight and see if they can be purified and to create a new Black Dragonflight without the old god corruption. Because that's the reason the Black Dragonflight are actually evil. They're not really evil, they're not supposed to be evil. They're supposed to be the guardians of the earth, but they've been corrupted by the old gods, which means their entire bloodline, I guess, it has been tainted by old god corruption. And that means that these new whelps really have no choice in what they do. They have just been horribly corrupted, and they have to be evil because of their nature and the way they were born, which means that you shouldn't really condemn them so far. That's why the other dragonflights don't try and exterminate the Black Dragonflight, because for one thing, the Black Dragonflight are quite powerful, and the second thing is the Black Dragonflight really aren't responsible for their actions totally. But as you can see here, Rhea has managed to capture Nexandria, and she has been laying eggs, which Rhea is then using to try and learn about the way of purifying the eggs. Now, I know this seems like a horrible thing to have the mother lay the eggs and having them taken away from her, but you have to realize Nexandria is evil, and if the Nexandria is allowed to care for the eggs, they're going to have horrible they can have new Black Dragonflight dragons, which is going to be a threat to both Azeroth and the other Dragonflights. And as we just learned, here we are, Rhea Straza. This is the true identity of Rhea, the little goblin there, and we have to run away now, because apparently she was dumb enough to decide to show her true appearance right by the Black Dragonflight, which wasn't particularly a good idea, if I have to say so. But she has told us to come and talk to Dr. Hieronymus Blam to see if he can learn anything, or he can tell us anything about the corruption of the egg. But first, apparently, we need to stop a Trog invasion from killing him, and we need to go and get up on one of these turrets that have been littered around his camp around the Badlands area here. You have to survive several waves. You have to use the one ability to attack mobs from far, and if a lot of mobs get too close to you, use the number 2 ability to kill all mobs within a certain radius, and it does have quite a long range. And for some reason my character is emoting like crazy now. Whenever my character is apparently doing any sort of quest, when he has to go off, when he has to lose control of his character and use new abilities, he just does random emotes for a lot. He just does random emotes for the duration of the quest. So that's the end of the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. If you want to like the video, please like. If you want to comment, please comment. And if you want to subscribe, please subscribe. If you want to follow me on Twitter, there's a link in the description below. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again. Peace out.